and establish, some credibility through these mediums. So let me ask you a question, all right, because we're talking about positioning here, and how do you get into the opportunity to present to people, all right, and actually begin to have a conversation. Well, how much is a title worth? Do you have a good title? If you have a good title, I can tell you that your title could be worth a small fortune. When I did my very first training program called 21 Ways to Double Your Sales, it was the first IP that I formally created. It was an all-day seminar. An insurance company hired me to present this seminar as an all-day event. Okay? And so we went into a room. There were 400 people in the room. I presented it all day. They recorded it. They said, could we record it? And I said, sure. Okay? Another thing. I like to record everything, and I usually give people permission to record me because I'd rather sell them what I've just recorded that's customized than to try to sell them my product, a generic, in the back of the room. That's just my take. Well, it turns out that this 21 Ways to Double Your Sales, I recorded one time and got paid $4,000 to do the seminar. At the end of the day, the person came up to me who hired me and said, Mitch, that was great. We love it. Here's what we would like to do. We would like to take the recordings, master them, give you a finished product, finished recordings, the masters, and then we would like to give all those recordings to 4,000 salespeople in our company. And they basically said to me, how much? Okay? How much? And I said, well, how about $10 a person? Does $10 a person sound about right? And they said, done deal. So I went into that room, got paid $4,000, presented a seminar, let them record it. At the end of the day, they came up to me and they agreed to pay me $40,000 for 4,000 sets of those recordings. 30 days later, they came back to me and they said, you know what, Mitch, you know what we really, really need more than anything? Now that we have the recordings, we need a workbook. And I said, workbook? Wow, funny you should mention that. I'm about to create a workbook. I was actually not going to create a workbook. I was actually going to transcribe the recording and turn it into a book. Okay? Now, here's another example of conversation when you let somebody tell you what they want to do, as opposed to go in there with your prejudgment, your pre-assumptions, all your stuff. I was actually about to say to him, well, I'm going to turn 21 Ways to Double Your Sales into a book. But before I said that, he spoke first. Because I asked him, how are your people enjoying the recordings? Are they getting some value out of the program? What's the buzz? What are they saying about it? What's the feedback? All that stuff. And he kept saying, oh, man, it's great. We're getting such great response. We're getting such good response. But there's something missing. Oh, yeah? What is that? He said, what's missing is they don't have any way to take all these strategies and actually apply them because there's no workbook. And I said, wow, funny you should mention that. I'm doing a workbook right now as we speak. I'll have it ready in 7 days. He said, great, we would like a workbook for all 4,000 of our people. And so what did I say? I said, basically, oh, great, $10 a person. He shook my hand, made a deal. Next thing I know, I turned a $4,000 seminar into an $80,000 payday. And I never did that seminar again. Never did that seminar again. And I got paid $84,000 to go in and show up, do a seminar, let them record it, knock it out of the park, and then license it back to them for use for their entire sales team, their entire organization. Okay. So how much is that title worth? Well, let me show you. In licensing, we did over $100,000. We did $80,000 with them, and well, we probably did another $50,000 with other companies by just taking that program and licensing it to them at $10 a person, letting them duplicate it because they could duplicate it better, faster, and cheaper than I could. I wound up making another $200,000 in training because companies we took this ad out in the periodical that you see, and companies were calling me up and saying, Mitch, we'd like you to come in and train our people on 21 ways to double your sales. Okay. So I got training contracts over a couple of years worth $200,000. Companies were calling me to consult with them. How do we get our people to double their sales? So I was picking up consulting contracts, retainer contracts, $5,000 a month, $7,000 a month. Okay. Come in and talk to people about how they can double their sales. Speaking gigs. I was charging about $4,000 to $5,000, between actually $3,000 and $5,000, and I wound up with probably 30 or 40 speaking gigs as a result of this one program. And then we made another $100,000 selling through space ads, 21 ways to double your sales. In this ad you see right here with an 800 number, and it was the only time I ever printed up 1,000 units of anything because I knew that we would sell them, and within probably 3 to 4 months we'd sold out the entire 1,000 units. Made another 100,000. Okay. Now realize where this all started, and this is such an incredibly valuable experience for me because what I realized was I could take a one-day seminar and a title and turn it into a mini franchise. And it basically became like a mini franchise, well over $500,000 just from creating a table of contents. And remember, these people hired me to do the presentation not because I had ever done it before, but because I had put together a table of contents, 21 ways to double your sales, and I sold them on the table of contents. I did that seminar one time, never did it again, and turned it into $500,000 worth of IP. Why do I share this with you? Well, I am absolutely certain that either you have one of these right now or you know somebody who has one of these right now, and you can act as an agent, a broker, and show them how they could leverage a title or a seminar or a workshop into potentially a six-figure intellectual property asset. And here we are 22 years later, and we still have 21 ways to double your sales. Now it's digital, and now we use it as a carrot, as a bonus if somebody buys some other products and services or IP. Okay, so how much is the title worth? I don't know, but I'll bet you have a title right now that if you followed this path